Hello everyone, welcome to this week's GT Sport Daily Race C Strategy Guide. It's week 29. We're a little bit later to the party this week due to the fact that it features a Group X car. That means we don't know what car we're going to be using until the race actually goes live. In this case, our Group X car of choice is the Redbull X 2019 competition. We've got the detailed settings up on the screen here. Let's take a look at them before we move on to strategy, or the lack of strategy that this one is going to feature. So we're going to the French circuit, Circuite de la Sarthe, with the chicanes, better known as Le Mans. We've got 5 laps to get around. Tyre wear is at ×5, fuel is only at ×1. Only got the racing medium tyres available. And for all the other things, as you would expect, we've got BOP on. There is no damage at all, not even light. It's a rolling start, and the slipstream is real. So yeah, the Redbull X 2019. I would preferred something like the Pagani Zonda R or the Fittipaldi. Is it the EF7? It's called. However, the Redbull X 2019 competition, nice enough car to drive. Definitely quite a sort of high skilled car, so you can expect to see quite a few people spinning out. So we've jumped on board our Iron Blue liveried X 2019. I'm going to give you a tip straight off the bat here, is that be very cautious into turn number 1. I thought I broke in plenty of time there, didn't even come remotely close to making the apex of turn number 1 and decided to take the escape road. We just let the car roll over the escape road and then roll onto the track. If you do that, you can avoid picking up a track limits penalty. So something to bear in mind if it all goes a little bit Pete Tong at turn number 1 for yourself, or technically turn number 2 on the opening lap, or any lap to be perfectly honest with you. So on to the Mulsanne straight for the first time. The Redbull X tops out at 194 miles per hour down here. If you have no slipstream, with the slipstream that will reach 199 miles an hour. So 5 mile an hour boost in the slipstream. It's going to make it quite a slipstream fest down these long straights. Do be careful on the exit of the chicanes though. Even in 3rd or 4th gear, these cars can try to oversteer, particularly if you try and use the curb on the outside, or technically on the inside of the chicanes. You're going to see a lot of people spinning on the exit of those chicanes. You're going to see just this car in general is very punchy in the way it sort of delivers the power. Very, very tricky car to drive. As I said a little bit earlier in the video, I think it's one of these cars where the sort of skill difference between players can kind of be sort of more recognised, if you like. So jumping forward here to lap number 5, you see we've made a mistake there into that tight right hand corner. I absolutely hate that corner on this track, I've got to be perfectly honest with you. Very, very hard to define a braking point there. I'll certainly be watching Tisney's guide later on to try and get what braking point he uses for that corner. But yeah, in terms of strategy, there is no strategy in this one. You won't be surprised from that with the settings. Tyres only at ×5, fuel's only at ×1, and you only have 1 set of tyres available, so it pretty much ruled out all the elements or chances we had of a strategy. In terms of tyre wear, there is a little bit of tyre wear in there that's going to feature, particularly on the rear tyres. You can see the rear tyres starting to look a little bit hurt towards the end of the race. That's with the brake balance at -5 as well. So you do want to be running your brake balance at -5 to protect those rear tyres as much as possible. So over at the finish line we come. This was actually my very first run, so I was learning all the way through that run as well. But even at that, we still come in with our 17 minutes for the finishing time. I suspect the super fast guy is going to be getting closer to 16 minutes 30 for the finishing time as the week goes on. So as I mentioned, that rear tyre wear is going to probably come into play for some players towards the end of the race, but you have no option but to just deal with it, because a pit stop is approximately 26 seconds, so you could probably be doing donuts on your last lap with your worn rear tyres and still be quicker than making a pit stop. So yeah, pit stops are out of the equation. So all in all, strategy wise, fairly disappointing race. An additional lap, up to 6 laps, which there's plenty of time to fit in. We may have made that tyre wear a little bit more of a factor towards the end of the race, or simply make it 6 laps and give us a choice of tyres just to make a pit stop in there, just to give a little bit of an element of strategy. Would have made this race much more appealing to myself, I have to say. Instead, what we've got is a 5-lap sprint race. It's going to be a sort of amalgamation of slipstream, carnage into the chicanes, people spinning out. As I said, the sort of skill difference between players in here can be slightly more exaggerated, so you can have sort of fast players getting tangled up with slower players a lot more than maybe normal. Probably will be a lot of fun, let's be honest. Make the most of it. Always say that, make the most of whatever the race is. But I think they could have certainly done better with the settings. So let's finish off the video here with a lap guide in the X2019 around Circuite de la Sarthe with the chicanes. Got the brake balance at -5. Join on board here as we cross the start finish line, coming up to turn number 1. Now, brake markers for turn number 2 are the total boards on the right hand side. I brake at the first one, or certainly that's my reference. Track limits, I have to say, don't seem quite so severe in this car. For every lap that I did, I never picked up any track limits at all, which was nice to see. Just be careful of the curbs through this section here, they can upset the car, and onto Tetra Rouge. Now, I think in qualifying that lap, that corner will probably be full throttle. It is the merest of lifts when you've got race tyres and fuel on board, and on to the Milzan straight for the first time. Now, we will fast forward down the rest of the straights, but let's just stay on board here. As you can see, the car topping out at 194 miles an hour. Photographer on the left hand side is a fairly decent reference for the first chicane. I think you can brake a little bit later than that. Be careful on the throttle on the exit, avoid that curb on the right hand side, that will upset the car. The last of the blue boards on the right hand side, I think it's the 100 metre board, is your reference point for the second chicane. Exactly the same advice through, or the exit of the second chicane, avoid that curb on the inside, and just be careful of wheel spin in third and fourth gear. Down into, is this Milzan corner? You can brake a lot later in here than you can in the Group 1 cars, so you can brake quite deep into there. Do be careful on the exit, you will see a lot of people in the barrier there as well. You go very deep in here, you're actually going all the way around the corner, get the car into a straight line before you brake, down into second gear, and then just before the blue arrow on the wall on the left hand side is your braking reference for this very tight right hander. And into the Porsche curves we come now. It's just a very slight lift here to get round the first one. Full throttle through the second part, full throttle through the third part here. Slight lift off the throttle, down one gear, should bring the car round. Again, a slight lift off the throttle for the last of the Porsche curves, and you're down towards the 2 chicanes that you finish the lap on. You brake very deep into them just at the start of the curb here, down into fourth gear, abuse the curbs like you've abused nothing in your life, and again, abuse the curbs plenty on the last chicane. Over the line we come for a 3 minutes 20.5, certainly nothing spectacular. At the time of recording, the fastest lap was a 3:16 point something, so only 5 seconds off that. Not too shabby, I guess, given we're just learning the track ourselves. We're carrying full fuel and our rear tyres are certainly been in better shape, so certainly I hope you've been able to learn something from that lap guide. Hopefully I've been able to kind of give some advice over the course of the video. It should be a fairly entertaining race in all fairness. It'll be a big kind of crazed slipstream battle, carnage down into the chicanes, people spinning out left, right and centre, all that good stuff. If you're looking for a bit of carnage, this is the race for you. Don't think it's going to be too friendly towards your DR and SR if that's something you're looking to protect. Possibly a race to avoid, or certainly drive on an alternate account where you're not too worried about these things. But we'll certainly be delving into this one a bit. We'll do a live stream a little bit later on today. If you're watching this on Monday, that is the plan. We should be doing a live stream later on Monday. If not Monday, certainly on the Tuesday, so do join me for that if you can. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you've made it to this point, you are the true superstars of the channel. And I do appreciate if you watch a video to the end, because it does certainly help, these little things in terms of the algorithm. Anyway, enjoy the race, enjoy your week, and good luck out there. Goodbye now.